Hello students, do you watch news on TV or do you read newspapers? If you don't, then start watching TV and reading newspapers. It's a good habit because by this you can get a lot of information about what is happening around us. There you also have a section on weather forecast. The newsreader tells us what would be the weather in different places in coming days. But what this weather is? Have you tried to think what actually weather is? If not, then we will try to understand this. Let us take another example. Do you remember the things that you were asked to pack when you were heading for a hill station? When the sky is cloudy, your parents insist that you should carry an umbrella. Have you ever heard elders in your family discuss the weather before planning a family function like wedding, birthday party, etc.? You must have also heard the experts discussing the weather before start of a game. Have you ever wondered why? The weather may have a profound effect on our lives. Many of our daily activities are planned based on the weather predicted for that day. There are daily reports of the weather on television and radio and in the newspaper. But do you know what this weather really is? In this chapter, we will study about the weather and the climate. We will also see how different forms of life are adapted to the climate of their habitat. When we see a weather report in a newspaper, we can find it carries information about the temperature, humidity, rainfall and wind speed. Now let us observe this carefully. Here is given a weather data of a week. Do all the 7 days have the same maximum and minimum temperature, humidity and rainfall? Sometimes the maximum and minimum temperatures recorded may be same for some of the days. However, all the parameters are not the same in any 2 days. Over a week, there may be considerable variation. So, the day-to-day condition of the atmosphere at a place with respect to the temperature, humidity, rainfall, wind speed, etc. is called the weather at that place. The temperature, humidity and other factors of any particular area are called the elements of weather. The weather of a place changes day after day and week after week. That is why we often say today's weather is too humid or the weather was warm last week. So, weather is a very complex phenomenon that it can vary over very short period of time. It can happen sometimes that it is sunny in the morning but suddenly cloud appears from nowhere and it starts raining heavily, or a heavy rain may vanish in a matter of minutes and give way to bright sunshine. You must have experienced this. Since weather is such a complex phenomenon, it's not easy to predict. Children, you may wonder who prepares these reports? Okay, now let us get an idea about this. The weather reports are prepared by the meteorological department of the government. This department collects data on temperature, wind, humidity, rainfall, etc. and makes the weather prediction. Do you know how these elements of weather are measured? These are measured by different instruments. Like temperature is measured by thermometer, rainfall is measured by rain gauge, wind speed is measured by anemometer, and humidity it is measured by hygrometer. Children, when you see weather reports, you can see maximum and minimum temperatures recorded every day. The maximum temperature is measured during afternoon and minimum temperature is measured during early morning. Because in a day, the early morning temperature is low, but by the time of noon or afternoon, the temperature begins to increase. So, in a day itself, we have different temperatures, and this is measured by a special thermometer called maximum and minimum thermometer. Now you can understand why in summers we feel so miserable in the afternoon and comparatively comfortable early in the morning. Now you will be wondering why weather changes so frequently and what is the source of weather. So students, you should know that all changes in weather is caused by the sun. The sun is a huge sphere of hot gases at a very high temperature. The distance of the sun from us is very large. Even then, the energy sent out by the sun is so huge that it is the source of all heat and light on the earth. So, the sun is the primary source of energy that causes changes in the weather. Energy absorbed and reflected by the earth's surface, oceans and atmosphere play important role in determining the weather at any place. If you live near the sea, you would have realized that the weather at your place is different from that of the weather in a desert or near a mountain. So, there are different types of weathers in different places. Now we will discuss what is climate. Meteorologists record the weather every day. The records of the weather have been preserved for the past several decades. These preserved weather reports helps us to determine the weather pattern of a place. The average weather pattern taken over a long time, say 25 years, is called the climate of the place. If in that case we find that the temperature at a place is high most of the time, then we can say that the climate of that place is hot. If there is also very heavy rainfall on most of the days in the same place, then we can say that the climate of that place is hot and wet. For example, the climate of Kerala is hot and wet. For more example, the climate of Jammu and Kashmir can be said to be moderately hot and wet. Similarly, in Rajasthan, the temperature is high during most part of the year, and this region receives very little rainfall. This is the typical desert climate. It is hot and dry. The northeastern India receives rain for a major part of the year. Therefore, we can say that the climate of northeast is wet. Now we will come toward another word, that is adaptation. Adaptation means a feature or a trait which helps an animal or a plant to survive with respect to their surrounding. So here, climate has a profound effect on all living organisms. Animals are adapted to survive in the condition in which they live. Animals living in very cold and hot climate must possess special features to protect themselves from the extreme cold and heat. So, adaptation is the feature or habits that help animals to adapt their surrounding, a result of the process of evolution. We will discuss some examples of adaptation of animals to climatic conditions living in polar region and tropical rainforest. Do you know, children, where is polar region? As the name suggests, the polar regions are situated near the poles, that is South Pole and the North Pole. Some well-known countries that belong to the polar regions are Canada, Greenland, Iceland, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Alaska in USA and Siberian region of Russia. Similarly, tropical rainforests are situated near the equator. Some countries which are having tropical rainforests are India, Malaysia, Indonesia, Brazil, Republic of Congo, Kenya, Uganda and Nigeria. Polar regions are covered with snow and it is very cold most part of the year. For 6 months, the sun does not set at the poles, while for the other 6 months, the sun does not rise. In winters, the temperature can be as low as -37 degrees Celsius. So, do you think, children, whether any animals would be living there in this climatic condition? You would be surprised to hear that yes, animals are living there. Animals living there have adapted to these severe conditions. We will discuss this in the next class. So students, till now we have discussed about what is weather, elements of weather, what is climate, what is adaptation. Adaptation of animals with respect to their climatic region, climatic condition of polar region and tropical rainforest region. So dear students, in the next class we will discuss about the adaptation of animals in polar region and tropical rainforest regions. Thank you.